It doesn't matter like their IQ level, like where they come from, like what language they speak, like just in general, like enslavement is not okay at all. I just think enslavement or like killing in general should not be a thing.
Those were hard no's for
Yeah.
you. You weren't like on the edge, like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not sure. It's just like hard no.
Okay, that one is hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like culturally, it is difficult to like separate those two things. It's also expensive to live that lifestyle.
It's okay to enslave and kill someone just because they have a low IQ or they have some sort of cognitive impairment.
No, it's not okay.
What about, same question, if you have power over another?
No, I think like the term itself, like enslavement within itself, it shouldn't even like be a thing. No matter like if you have higher power or anything like that, I just think enslavement or like killing in general should not be a thing. Yeah.
What does enslavement mean to you, I guess? Like, what's your...
Forcing someone to do work that they don't want to do without like pay or reparations and things like that. Especially like with higher authority, like just like the disrespectful act of forcing them to do things that they don't want to do.
What about same question? It's okay to kill or enslave someone if they don't speak your language or if it's difficult for them to learn your language?
No, I think that just goes back to my point, like, again, like just like the term enslavement and killing, it should not be a thing. It doesn't matter like their IQ level, like where they come from, like what language they speak, like just in general, like enslavement is not okay at all whatsoever.
Imagine that we find an island, right? And it's populated by Neanderthals, like that have been like living there this whole time we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to kill and enslave them since they weren't humans?
No. Yeah, I mean, the way that I think of it is like we're the ones that discovered it, so I feel like that's like they've been there first, you know. So I feel like no, we shouldn't kill or enslave them. Yeah.
All right, so that was sort of the first set of questions. Feeling good?
The first set, yeah.
All right,
I guess.
They might get harder.
Okay.
Now those, they all seemed like those were hard no's for you. It seemed like
Yeah,
it wasn't. You weren't like on the edge, like maybe I'm not sure. It's just like hard no. Okay, good. So do you eat cows, pigs, chickens, eggs, milk?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think in the production to get those onto your plate, do you think we have to kill or enslave those animals?
Okay, that one is hard, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like obviously in general, like you would have to kill an animal in order for us to like gain nutrition from them. But I don't agree with the way that it's happening. I know like over mass production is like a thing in terms of that industry, and I know like the way that they treat these animals is not humane whatsoever. So in terms of that aspect, I don't agree with that. But it is a little difficult because we do like need those like resources in order to gain like nutrition.
So do you know like what happens? Like for instance, like what would happen to a pig, like along the their life?
I don't like, I've seen videos obviously, and like I have like advocated for things like that too. I'm not 100% sure like what actually happens within those things, but I do see like a lot of animal abuse and torture and malnourishment and things like that, and also just like chemicals that are like given to them in order to like grow quicker. So like I have seen those things, but I'm not like 100% sure like what goes on.
That's a little bit of it. That's a little bit of it. Can I show you a quick like 1 or 2 minute video about what happens to pigs?
Definitely.
Okay. Can I just ask you to be my partner here real quick?
Yeah.
If you can just hold that.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be the audio person. Or if you need to just say, I want to stop watching this video, we
Yeah.
can stop watching and we can go back to the But thanks, it
of course.
takes bravery to watch this stuff, so appreciate that. So that's so that they don't bite each other because they get very distressed.
Yeah.
And they'll bite off each other's tails. There's about 5 seconds left. Very standard practice. That's what happens to nearly all pigs in the industry, and even on small farms and things like that.
Yeah.
So before we even talk about it, just like if you're having any feelings, like happiness, sadness, disgust, like are you feeling any feelings after seeing that?
I mean, of course, like I feel sadness for that because, like I said, like the treatment that they endure is not something like that should be acceptable. So yeah, like in terms of that, like I don't like that, and I do feel really like disgusted within that inhumane practice that goes on.
If you were there in the slaughterhouse with the pig, right?
Yeah.
And you had to explain to the pig and give them a justification for like why you paid for them to go into that gas chamber.
Yeah.
What sort of good justification do you think you could give them?
I mean, I don't think there is any good justification for it. Like I said before, I think it's more of like the practice that is going on. It shouldn't happen. Like again, like we do need like the cycle of life, we do need them in order to like nourish us, but like the way that they're being killed and things like that is just unacceptable.
Do you think we do need to eat them in order to survive and thrive?
I mean, personally, I feel like we do. Yeah, I feel like we do, but again,
when do you think the last time I ate an animal or an egg or milk is?
Just from like knowing that you do this, I feel like it's been a really long time. I would say, wait, how many?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
How long has it been for you?
28 years.
He's done Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, really?
Yep. And this guy I think has been 5 years. 5.5. You can definitely survive and thrive.
Yeah, definitely.
With plant-based foods. All the major dietetic associations have statements out there that says you can sort of be. So given that, if that justification isn't available, do you think there is a good justification, I guess?
I feel like, okay, like just like the way that I've grown up and things like that, like culturally it is difficult to like separate those two things. But I also feel like it's also expensive to live that lifestyle, just like from what I've seen. Like if you really want to get like products that have no like GMOs, if that's the word, or like things that have been grown like, what's the word? Organically. From what I've seen, just like because I'm from Atlanta, so like I feel like that's like more expensive to purchase things like that. So I feel like that also has to be taken into account. Like it is cheaper to buy like fast produced things than it is to get like more organic things. But again, it doesn't account for like everything that is going on within like animals that are like facing like cruelty and things like that.
Yeah, that's like something I thought for a while too. I was like, okay, this is going to be more expensive. Like when I first want to go vegan, I was like kind of worried about that. But it turns out like my grocery bill really hasn't gone up. If anything, it's gone down. So if you think like some of the cheapest foods, like vegan foods in the grocery store, like lentils, beans, soy, all those things, they're much cheaper than the counterparts of like hamburger or fish or steak. And so there's actually a ton of just like whole foods that are very cheap and plant-based. There's also been like multiple studies done that show that like at least in countries like the US, Canada, like OECD countries, it is actually cheaper to have a plant-based diet. And you said culture too, right? Culture. Yeah, and just to be clear, like my culture also, like I grew up, you know, grilling burgers and hot dogs with my dad and things like that. And so like it can be tough, right? Culture is like, it's got a grip on us. I guess what I think of is like, have there been times in the past when people have used culture to justify like some sort of oppression?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like literally what the US is based off of. But I mean, like, I don't know, you did kind of get me there. Yeah. I don't know.
It's tough. I know. And especially for the first time thinking about it, a lot of times people won't press you on these questions.
No, definitely.
I'm here to kind of like make you feel a little uncomfortable, like kind of get you thinking.
I think that's important too. Like what a lot of people don't realize is like you have to make people uncomfortable in order to like make a change or make people acknowledge situations. So like I appreciate you for doing that. Yeah.
For sure. That's what I'm out here to do.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think like the barriers for you would be? Like if you were to cut out like milk, eggs, pigs?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't really given it much thought. But I mean, I definitely think it's like like you said, it's a lifestyle that is like individuals are like able to do it. So I definitely think like with giving it more thought and more consideration, like it's a lifestyle that I can do and implement into my life. Yeah.
And yeah, I want to take this back to the beginning because we talked a lot about the conditions and the animals being treated cruelly. But if you remember the first questions we asked, there was no cruelty in those. And you said the killing itself was wrong, right? So even if there was no cruelty, like if I walked up behind you and like shot you in the head and you didn't know it was coming, I assume you'd still have a problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in that case, to be honest, like I didn't know like what you guys were like referencing from the beginning, but I thought it was more like in terms of like individuals and like humans being like killed or tortured. But
well, are animals individuals? Are they someone or something? Are they more like a toaster? Or like, is a dog a someone or is it more like a toaster?
Animals to me are a someone, I guess. Yeah, because like I know like, at least for my dogs, like I consider them like my people, you know?
Do you know pigs are about as smart as dogs, maybe even smarter?
I have heard about that, Yeah, I guess it just like goes back to like not knowing like what the question, you know, but yeah.
Well, if I had a resource that would kind of maybe help you go vegan and explore it more, would you be interested in that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave you with one last thought. It's kind of a tough one, but just remember, as long as you're paying for this, that's gonna keep happening. What you saw on that screen.
Definitely.
So, well, thanks so much. Yeah, that was a great conversation. Thanks for being open-minded. Thanks for stopping and taking time out of your day. Thanks a lot, guys. And if you want to help me make this my full-time career, check out the Patreon in the description. And shout out to Ryan O'Neill, Tom Eisenbeiss, NetBase News, Monstar, David Yastrzemski, and Maxwell Edison.